Greetings, Nick with Sweetwater here, and welcome to Gearfest Live 2021, via Zoom, of course, because of the current pandemic. I've got the great fortune of being joined by a founder member of Judas Priest, the one, the only Ian Hill. So without further ado, Ian, thanks so much for taking the time to join us on this day.
You're welcome. You've just been joined by the dog, by the way.
Well, that's, like we said, live. Live is what counts.
Yeah, very live.
And you're, of course, in England right now, and now you were born and bred in West Bromwich, right?
That's right, yeah.
I'm sorry about the Liverpool game, by the way. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh, yeah, well.
What a great goal, though.
I agree. It was unique, and they deserved it at the end of the day. Yeah. We probably weren't good enough this season. So.
But anyway, I don't want to rub salt in that wound. But onto the subject in hand, the one, the only Judas Priest. 50 years last year. Well, according to, if you look on the Googles, the World Wide Web of nonsense and truth, and you've got to cipher through it. Some say 1969, some say 1970. And as you're a founder member, could you actually put that to bed? Was it 69 or 70 when yourself and Ken formed Priest?
There was a Judas Priest before the present one. That was formed by Alan Atkins and three other musicians. At the same time as Ken, myself, and a guy called John Ellis got together and formed our own little band, who were very loosely called Freight, which is a pretty crap name.
Right.
That was in 69. But the original Judas Priest split up sometime later that year, and early, it must have been sometime in the middle of 1970. Alan Atkins became available, and he walked past our rehearsal room, liked what he heard, and came in and asked if we needed a vocalist, and that's where we got him from, and then we inherited the name from him. So, we spent the rest of that year rehearsing and getting a new set list together, and we were ready to go by early 91.
Right, so that puts it to bed then. So yourself and Ken got together in 69, but Priest didn't come to be until 1970, which explains why 2020 is, of course, the 50th, duh. But I keep seeing 69 on the internet, so I just wanted to put that one to bed. So you've been in a band for 51 darned years now, which makes you pretty unique. And you're the only surviving member, because Ken's moved on. Later I'm going to ask you for some advice, but I understand you started playing bass partly because your father was an upright bass player in local jazz bands. Is that correct?
Right, yeah. Yeah, that's him. He's just
there
over
you
there.
go.
He was playing in dance bands and jazz combos and things, and it's funny, I wasn't really that interested in music, to be honest. I mean, I was surrounded by it when I was a kid.
Right.
Obviously jazz and jazz-orientated things, and folk as well, and the early pop music. And Dad started to teach me the rudiments on the upright when I was about 15 or something like that, 14. And he died when I was 15, so that was the end of my childhood. But I'd caught the bug by then. And I was listening to bands like John Mayall, Cream, all the early blues rock bands, and decided to have a go at bass guitar, which is ultimately easier to play.
Arguably, but allegedly, I would say.
Ultimately more portable as well. So, my dad, every time he bought a car, he had to get one with a sunroof to play.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's how I got my start. Yeah, and then just went from the taught myself after then. You start picking out bass lines in things, and so, sooner or later you get to know the different scales and what you can and can't play a certain key.
Right.
And Ken was doing the same. So was John on drums, and I think everybody in the band learned like that. None of us had any sort of formal training. We all sort of learnt our trade on our own.
Yeah, because yourself and Ken were literally schoolmates, weren't you? You were at the same school together.
Yeah, we'd known each other since we were about 5. Right. We were both on the same housing estate, and we became friends really towards the end of secondary school.
Gotcha.
We were 15 or so, 15 years of age. And that was through music. We were listening to similar stuff. I was listening to Cream and stuff. So was he, and he was listening to Hendrix. He was a big Hendrix fan. Ken still is.
Right.
And we formed a bond, after that. And that's all got the start from, I suppose,
Gotcha.
Started sort of messing around musically.
Now, you've mentioned John Mayall, Cream, Hendrix. Any other early influences, bass-wise?
Bass-wise, well, Entwistle, of course. He was always
of course.
on everybody, in those days. But some of the bass players you forget now. But the guy in Colosseum, I think it's Tony Reeves. His name was Glenn Cornick from Jethro Tull, great bass player. Andy Fraser from Free. I was influenced just about anybody. I mean, but my taste was eclectic. I was still listening to the old jazz records that my dad had accrued as well. So I was listening to Nelson Riddle and things like that. Niels Henning Orsted Peterson as well. A terrific jazz bass player, upright bass player. Not that he influenced me, it's just something I loved, But just about anybody I was listening to back then. And, just enjoyed every minute of it. And I suppose up here somewhere, it all rubbed off between the ears somewhere, over the years.
Now, you started off doing fingerstyle and then you switched to pick. What was your reason for doing that?
2 very loud distorted guitars. And you're going to try and cut all through that stuff, and you're not going to do it with a waffly finger. I'm mucking around it in my studio now. I'll pick it up and I'll play fingerstyle. It's my natural style. I still find, after all these years, I still find playing with the pick a bit awkward. But that was the reason. It was just basically to cut through and give the bass its sort of identity, and not get it mixed up with the general waffle of distorted guitars.
Gotcha. Now, and how does, over the years, Priest have had some great drummers, and of course your most recent drummer, who's been there for over 30 years already, Scott Travis.
The new guy.
Yeah, really, kind of like Ronnie Wood in the Stones. Yeah, same thing. How much did, Scott has a very different playing style to his predecessors. Did that change your bass playing approach?
To a certain extent, yeah. It was more Scott fitting in with us than the other way around.
Gotcha.
But he did, obviously brought a different dimension to the band with the fast double bass drum work. It was stuff that we couldn't really do with Dave. Dave was a great rock drummer, really was. Real heavy, powerful drummer. But Scott does things, with all due respect to Dave, that he couldn't really have handled, So he did bring, a different item to the menu, if you like.
Right.
And of course, with that, I had a fit in with him then, to tighten up and make sure we were both sort of locked in,
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, he's a terrific drummer, Scott. He really is, He's one of the finest drummers I've ever come across anyway, put it like that.
Yeah, amazing drummer, actually. Now, when do you the thing I love about Priest is that you, obviously yourself and Scott, and before that Scott and Dave, yourself and Dave were the foundation. When do you make the choice to sort of pedal the note rather than follow the guitars or come up with a complementary line? What is your rationale behind that? Like, say, in the example, Painkiller, the start of that, like you pedal the E, and in Another Thing Coming, same thing, you pedal the F sharp. When do you make that choice? Is that just trial and error, or do you hear it?
Well, yeah, it's forming a basis, excuse the pun, for the guitars to work over and everything else to go on top. And when you've got something comparatively fast as well, like Painkiller, you don't want to be doing things too busy, if you know what I mean. It'll just get sort of lost, if you know what I mean. You need straight flipping solid foundation there for things to be built on. And you start moving around too much, and you start to lose that, and it starts to get loose, if you know what I mean. Not in a nasty way, but just sort of musically loose.
Right.
And you lose the power. You lose the drive out of it. So, and it's been like that for a long time now. If you listen to the earlier albums that we did, I did a lot of moving around.
Right.
And it was musically, obviously, it was more intricate, but from a listener's point of view, it took away some of the power, some of the edge. So, well, I did what was right, basically, for the song rather than me.
Gotcha. Yeah. So ego to one side, song first. What a concept.
Yeah.
Never catch on.
Yeah.
Never catch on, mate.
You got to put the band first, you know. That's what I've always done anyway. That's why I'm still with it. I've always put the band first.
Well, once again, what a concept. Never catch on. Now, talking of basses, Spector have come out with, because you've been with Spector since the 80s, and they've come out with this really spectacular limited edition 50th anniversary. What was your involvement in the design and all that good stuff, and why did you choose maple and et cetera, et cetera?
I went back to just a single pickup, which is the first thing. I mean, I started using one of the standard basses way back in the 80s. We've got 2 pickups.
Right.
Never used the back one.
Right.
It was always knobs full up, you know, so you got everything coming out of the front pickup. So I just thought it was a bit of a waste of time, really. You know? So it was a little bit of marketing there, a little bit of sense. Why have a pickup that you're not going to use? So we got rid of that. I had like the woodwork of the bass itself is made actually in Czechoslovakia.
Okay.
In the Spector factory there, and that was the thought. It was making it more accessible to people if they want to go out and buy one. That it's, you know, it's sort of, well, cost effective with the tongue in cheek, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But not as it's, you know, several dollars less than it would be if it was all made in America. And that was just my idea, you know.
Good, well, it's a good one. And I like we have them in stock here, and I checked one out before doing the interview. It's a very sleek, nice playing, great sounding bass, actually, by the way. So congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, I've been with Spector all of these years for a reason, you know, and I just love the bass. I mean, you're right. It's easy to play. It's got a great scale that fits my fingers as well. You know, it's got a great feel. It doesn't weigh a ton. I don't know. I just got along with them, and they're built like a tank as well. I mean,
it is, yeah.
The grief they get put through on the road, because when we tour, you know, I mean, we tour extensively, you know, and never had any trouble with them whatsoever. The only trouble I had was sweat getting down the back,
Right.
down the little plate on the back. That's the only trouble I've ever had with them. Other than that, they've been fine. I don't think I've even broke a string on any of them, you know.
Agreed, yeah.
Or strings, I suppose.
Yeah, and in addition to having the EMGP style pickup in there, which is active, obviously, which gives you some thump, you've also got the Spector tone pump. Great name. Sounds like something from Spinal Tap, doesn't it? But
yeah, it goes up to 11. Yeah.
and that has a really nice, that helps with the drive and the push, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's all a great little package, you know. It all adds up to something quite special, you know. And the sustain on it as well.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
It's unbelievable. I've been in the studio, you know, and they say, "Okay, let that one ring out." I say, "Okay," and a minute later, it's still going, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Back to Spinal Tap, yeah. Just go back, have a bite, still hear that one. That's fun. And I would imagine maple has something to do. My experience with maple is it's got a nice cut, but it has that sustain as well. And that yours is pretty heavy. Like there's a predominance of maple in the bass, and the fact you've got 24 frets is nice as well. Was that another deliberate ploy?
Yeah. Because when I'm at home, I do let go a little bit. Gotcha. Get up there.
Now, obviously, Judas Priest's 50th was last year, and because of the pandemic, it wasn't the tour wasn't to be. But happily, I've just seen dates being announced, like you're playing Grass Pop in June, which is fantastic, and then you start the American leg of the 1 year late, 51st anniversary tour, I guess, in September through October.
I'm not too sure about the June one. Things are still a bit shaky in Europe, unfortunately.
Oh, right, on the Grass Pop one in Belgium, yeah.
It's news to me if we are doing it, put it like that. But we are doing, there's a festival in Britain called Bloodstock.
Ah, right.
We're doing that one in August, which is great, really. It's a great warm-up because we'll rehearse over here anyway, musically, and the production rehearsals here, because the gear's here, basically.
Right.
And then we'll do that. Be a great warm-up show, great reintroduction to everything, you know. It'll be the first show that we've done for 2 years. And then we ship everything back out to the States then to start the American leg, which starts, I think the first date's on the 9th of September somewhere.
Something like that, yeah.
I can't remember where, but that's the first date. And we'll do a week or so rehearsals in the States as well, and then we're on our way, you know. And the stuff that we should be doing this year has been put back to next year, which is the European dates, which is not too much of a hassle really, because most of them are festivals anyway,
right?
And they happen all on the same weekends, if you know what I mean, every year.
Right, gotcha.
So cancel it this year and just move the whole thing back to a year. And then after that one, we'll just have to see how the rest of the world's getting on, you know. We still need to get to, obviously, South America, Japan, maybe another stint in the States. We generally do 2 legs anyway,
right.
You know. So that bit's a little bit in limbo at the moment. But American dates, as of yet, are in, and they're solid.
Yeah, and I just noticed that they just announced Louder Than Life, and you're actually playing the Sunday co-headlining with Metallica, that's quite a... that should be quite a medal event.
Yeah, I haven't seen that lot for ages, so I just have to hang around. So.
Now, as it's the 50th anniversary set, are there any surprises for the audience in terms of the set list, or if you tell me, will you have to kill me? Can you reveal anything?
Yeah, well, yeah, there will be surprises. There's a couple of things we haven't played before. We're dragging a few things out of the woodwork as well.
Oh, cool.
We try and cover as many albums as we can. It's difficult, you know, because we've got so many albums. Something somewhere's going to have to give, you know. We'll try and keep something from at least most of the albums, and yeah, a couple of things that we haven't played yet, which will be which we're all looking forward to, you know.
Oh, I bet. Now, to finish this off, once again, thanks so much for taking the time. Congratulations on the bass. Congratulations on the 51st anniversary now, and the pending dates. Now, you're kind of a unique individual because you not only formed a band, you're still in it 51 years later. There are a lot of people watching this who would like to be not only in a band but also maintain said beast. What would your advice be to them on that front, if that's not too silly a question?
Yeah, I think it's basically listening to each other and respecting each other. Don't try and grab too much of the limelight yourself. I mean, it's easy for me to say because I'm an easygoing pragmatist anyway.
Right.
But you need to listen to other people, listen to other members of the band, and give them the respect that they deserve. I mean, they're there, you know, and a good sense of humour helps as well, you know. Mutual tolerance and a sense of humour. There you go.
Listen, Ian, I can't thank you enough for taking the time for doing this. I hope next time our paths cross, it'll be face-to-face at some venue in America somewhere.
Absolutely. Come and have a beer backstage, and we'll toast the end of the pandemic, all being well.
Yeah, and hopefully West Brom doing well as well. So.
Oh, no, we'll see. We'll see. They've got a lot of work to do.
Anyway, take care and thanks so much.
It's been brilliant. It's great to get back to some kind of normality, even with this, you know, so that's great. I appreciate it.
Thanks for taking the time, my friend. Cheers.
No problems. See ya.